We want to welcome you to the Neuroscience of Our Mission. We are finding some amazing things in neuroscience now that is so relevant for the job God gave to us. Now, the brain was wired for love. Without love, we die. This is an essential finding in neuroscience. This love is generated by two hormones, oxytocin and dopamine. So the dopamine comes and what is called receptors, and that's how they act. And this is so important. The oxytocin is the love bonding hormone, and dopamine is the feel-good hormone that helps us to be happy, healthy, prosperous, and the generation of just total joy. Now, because of adverse child experiences, clinical trauma, the things that we go through as children, the abandonment, the abuse, physical, mental, sexual, all of these things that happen to us, we end up with a different types of brain. We now have a tribal brain, which is very territorial. Instead of oxytocin, we have vasopressin. And it's a tormented state. Steps to Christ, the 4th chapter, talks about the sense of fear and terror and shame. There is the guilt. There's a fight and flight response. This state of torment that exists is of such that it has to be quieted, and that's why we have these whole lot of addictions to drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and for most Christians, sugar. To deal with this problem, we have a damaged tribal brain. The neurotransmitters, the hormones are different. The structure is damaged. And you can see this with functional MRI, which is a type of MRI that actually sees what part of the brain is, with certain thoughts, what part of the brain is irrigated, the blood supply, the patterns of thinking. This is all shown of what's going on in the damaged tribal brain. Very territorial. We only love those who have our own skin color, our own country, etc. And we all listen to the same station, WIIFM, What's in It for Me. Intense selfishness. And let me show you the faces of some of these individuals. So people with this fight and flight response, this mental change, which is reflected in the faces. There's the rage, and it has nothing to do with race. You have white, black, the same, the extreme sadness, the shock, the severe depression, the zoning out. All of these expressions are expressions from the damaged chemistry inside the brain. Now, how can we make this change? These individuals, they're not interested in evangelism, whether to do it or to accept it. You give them steps to Christ, a great controversy, go around the block, it's on the ground. You cannot reach these people with Christ. No, their brains are being showered with oxytocin. God's love is always there, but the receptors are turned off. How can we turn it back on? Functional MRI is beginning to show a number of things. A number of individuals, you put them in the functional MRI and you speak to them words like, I hate you, you're no good. I hate you, you're damaged, you're no good. I hate you. You actually see the change in the brain chemistry that occurs. And we're seeing hints of this. So we're seeing now similar patterns in the relationship with a mother and a baby. When a mother gives birth to a baby, the mother has high levels of oxytocin. There is a strong bonding and love with the baby. Every time she picks up the baby, we do this by swabbing the inside of the mother's cheek, the inside of the baby's cheek in functional MRI, and we measure it, and we can tell the levels. So the baby, as she cuddles the baby, each time she does it, the level of the oxytocin keeps rising in the baby. The bonding between the baby and the mother occurs. What the mother is doing with each love, each act, each kindness, each bathing, when the baby cries, you respond to the baby. The receptors are turned back on and the baby matures. If this does not happen, a number of studies have shown that the baby will die. So if you continue with this process, we're finding out that it's by love you turn on oxytocin receptors again, And instead of vasopressin, people start responding to oxytocin. And this is some of the phases of the compassion brain. This is some of what's happening here with these oxytocin receptors that are being turned back on. And there's the bonding, the love that is beginning to come on board. So we're seeing that a process of transformation by love has to occur. Oxytocin has to come back, has to be turned on again. And so instead of an exclusion hormone, there is a bonding hormone. So transformative brain cells that are damaged become healthy cells through the process of being loving these individuals one more time. This is so important to understand this process because it's built on what we call in behavioral science and neuroscience, supportive therapeutic relationships. You recognize that this is exactly how Jesus operated. And Jesus used one word, discipleship. So you remember John and James, the brothers, they had the nickname of sons of thunder. They had so much anger and so much rage that they gained that nickname. But however, because of this disciples, of the continued love and kindness from Jesus to John, he ended up becoming John the Beloved. And so, friends, we ask this question. If this process is true, then Jesus must have modeled it. And the Ministry of Healing 143 made it clear that Jesus mingled as one desired their good. He mingled intentionally. I'm here for you. He sympathized with them. He satisfied their needs. In short, people caring for people. Jesus modeled it. Jesus mingled intentionally. When they came, he knew they were for their good. He mingled intentionally. He sympathized. He satisfies their needs. People caring for people. And so we now, guided by the Holy Spirit, we must mingle intentionally. We can't stay in the church and invite people to come to church. We have to go out and minister in the community. Mingle intentionally. Sympathize needs. Satisfy these needs. Sympathize. People caring for people. That's the process of which oxytocin is turned back on. This is so important. And so we find this unbelievable quotation in Testimonies to the Church, Volume 9, page 189, that if we're humble enough to just accept Christ's method and just use it, if we're kind, courteous, tender-hearted, and pitiful, there'd be 100 conversions to the church where now there is only one. And so, friends, through this process of supportive therapeutic relationship, because of this supportive relationship, this discipline process, we cannot go without this discipline process. The compassion brain emerges. And here, oxytocin comes back. It's the aroma of bonding. People come by you and they see this joy with you. Healthy, compassionate brain cells, there is now love, peace, grace, compassion, forgiveness, and empathy as a result of that. The cells now are completely different, bathed with oxytocin receptors, because of the process of supportive therapeutic relationships where discipleship brings it home. And so I want to invite you, one more quotation, Ministry of Healing 470, it says, a loving and lovable Christian is the greatest argument for Christianity. I want you to join us, join our mission. Go back to your countries, go back to your churches. Evangelize with love. Go ye therefore, make disciples. Jesus knew what he's doing. And through neuroscience, we are now seeing that Christ's method of turning on oxytocin receptors where kindness create bonding and invite people is the way we're going to finish the gospel.